Hey everyone, welcome back to the Superhero Show. Daniel and Chris here, and loads of stuff happened this week, surprise stuff. But first, you last week on the show asked for suggestions for topics.
Yeah, first things first.
Basically outsourcing ideas.
No, it's just back and forth, the kind of back and forth we like to have.
That's what I meant, yeah.
With the viewers. But thanks we got loads of great topics sent in. We don't have to think for the next 6 months because there's so many good ideas.
It has worked.
But funny enough, Darren Booker wrote in from Shipley. And he said, hey guys, you said they should leave the Joker out of the next Batman film as they have a lot of Batman villains to choose from. So I think next week's topic should be which villain you want to see in the next Batman solo film. Mine would be Deathstroke. Played by Matt Damon.
Interesting.
After seeing him in The Newborn rocking the tinsel in his hair and still being a big chap, I think he'd do...
I saw The Newborn film over the weekend. I don't remember that scene. And a little cocktail umbrella in his mouth twirling it.
He says he thinks he'd be great. So yeah, Darren said this before we got the news, didn't we? Or the weird...
It was weird news because I was online when Ben Affleck tweeted. I was actually on Twitter and I just refreshed.
You were on Ben Affleck's page.
Come on, Ben.
Like you normally are.
Ben, give me something. Come on, topless selfie. And it just came up and it was kind of a weird thing. It was like, is this what I think it is? It was almost like, is this from something that already exists? Is it a fan movie? I was like, is he announcing this character? And it was just a very downbeat way of doing it in a way. It's because it was just the video file. There's no text or anything. And it looked like footage that's been filmed right now. Like, I guess it just happened maybe.
Yeah,
so whether that's in Justice League or whether it's he's doing a test screening of an actor or a costume for the movie he's directing. It's very ambiguous in the way it was announced.
Yeah, well, the Wrap came out, which is a publication in the States, saying Ben Affleck wasn't just teasing. Deathstroke will in fact be the main antagonist of the Batman standalone movie he's directing. The Wrap has exclusively learned from an individual with knowledge of the situation. Very vague, disconcertingly vague. And they said they knew this. This has been known for a while because Mark Guggenheim, Arrow creator, said that they couldn't use Slade Wilson in the TV show on a Tumblr conversation he had last year because it was wrapped up in another DC property.
Oh.
So we vaguely knew this, I guess, but it wasn't confirmed as to when and where.
That's weird that they can't use him because they use other characters that have appeared. And they have used him previously.
His exact quote was, the character Slade Wilson is currently tied up in another DC project. Walter is more likely. Walter Wilson rather than Slade Wilson.
Right.
But anywho, we don't know. I mean, it could go either way, couldn't it?
Yeah. So it looks like... he's in the DCEU in some shape or form. My preference would be for him to appear in Justice League and then be in the Batman film later on, because I think the DCEU could benefit from setting up characters in one movie and then capitalising on them in another.
Yep. And then I think you've got an email to read out, which could bring us on to our next subject.
Yeah, this is from Micah Brown. What are your thoughts on the apparent reveal of Deathstroke as the main villain in Ben Affleck's Batman movie? This might be one of the only DCEU movies I have hope for. Here are a few reasons why I like this idea. Deathstroke is one of the most skilled combatants in DC and could be an intense physical challenge for Batman. This conflict is particularly interesting with the lethal DCEU Batman. Personally, I'm picturing the energy of the warehouse fight scene in BVS being executed well and for more than a few minutes.
So and he sent a second email in, following up. I've particularly wanted you to read this one out.
If you guys receive my last email, I'd like to add that Joe Manganiello should play Deathstroke. That is all from Micah.
Well, nice pronunciation.
Yeah.
So yeah, and apparently that is the rumour.
That's the
on the street.
That's on the E street, on the internet highway. I don't know what I'm saying.
On the DC street.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, the internet believes that it's Joe Manganiello because they were combing through his Instagram and his Twitter, and he was in London for the last week. He recently started following, I think, David Ayer and Zack Snyder, on the day that it was released. So people have put two and two together and made 16. But possible.
Yep. If that was shot that week and he was in London that week,
because then it might be it was a screen test to see what he looked like in the outfit and stuff. I've looked at that little eye quite a lot in the video. I don't know much about Joe Manganiello's eyes.
Did it look like
like an eye?
A mango yellow coloured eye?
Sure.
Good choice, bad choice?
Well, I've seen a lot of pictures of him with his top off, and he is.
He does it in most films, to be honest.
Yeah, we're just doing it all the time. Joe, you put
the Magic Mike franchise. He's never got it on.
Wardrobe department's like.
So to be fair, he wouldn't have to hit the gym.
No,
for this
he's
one.
like, I think I read he's 6'5", Ben Affleck 6'4". He looks incredible. He looks like he is a real superhero.
Yeah.
So I think he has the physical prowess to play the role. Also, funnily enough, at the weekend, I watched a film with him in.
Oh, yeah.
That really showcased his acting ability. It was the Netflix Pee Wee Herman movie, because my nephew really wanted to watch it.
He's quite good in that, though.
He's quite good in it.
Yeah,
he plays himself.
Yeah, it's quite a fun character.
Yeah, I really like him. I think
he's got some charisma.
He's very charismatic.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like Momoa in that way, I think.
Yeah, I'm definitely not adverse to him getting the role. If that's true, I'll be very happy with that.
Yeah. So I've came up with some other suggestions, though. I want to run by you.
Okay.
I want you to give me a yay or a nay.
Hotline to Kevin at WB.
I mean, I think the idea of Matt Damon is a really good one.
Yeah.
Is it too much? Is it too inside baseball? Is it too nudge, nudge, wink, wink?
It's
oh, look.
Meta-fictional.
Yeah, these two best friends, we're going to have them fight on screen.
Yeah, well, obviously they are linked in your mind, but they're both really good actors.
Yeah.
And they know each other really well, and bringing that dynamic into play be great. And Damon played that many villains?
No,
so I think I'd really like to see him do that as well. But yeah, I can't see it happening.
No. Okay, so I thought, well, we should have someone around the age of Affleck. Let's do it that way.
Yeah.
So and also trying to think of people that haven't played superheroes before. So it's kind of the usual suspects, but what about DiCaprio?
DiCaprio's been rumoured with Batman movies for quite a long time. Remember when they were ramping up the production on the third Nolan movie, he was rumoured to be the Riddler for ages.
Yeah.
I'd love to see him in one of these movies one day.
But maybe not a villain in a mask.
Yeah, but I don't know if DiCaprio, I wonder if he'd do it. I think he takes himself quite seriously.
He's got his Oscar now, though.
Yeah.
So now he can relax a little bit.
Let loose.
I felt like that was stressing him out.
Let loose. You don't have to eat raw reindeer in a frozen field anymore, mate.
Really getting to him.
Put on a cape. No, I'd love to see him, but I think you want him a villain where there's a lot more kind of manipulation. That's why Riddler would be great for him.
McConaughey.
Again, another one who's been rumoured for quite a long time and linked with both DC and Marvel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's got the swagger that I could see in the role.
Yeah. I think he'd be quite a fun villain. He'd kind of chew up the scenery, as he does in everything anyway, but Gerard Butler?
No.
Not a big...
I just think he's made some bad decisions recently, and I think his star value has fallen quite considerably, and I can't see him adding much.
He could shout.
Really bad, just slagging off Gerard Butler there.
He could shout, "This is Arkham," and kick him down a well. How's that?
Dale, punching on that. And replay that again and again.
Jason Clarke.
I don't see him as a big villainous presence. He's decent in a lot of movies, but I don't know. I still don't see him as the main dude.
I'm just thinking as well, he's Deathstroke the Terminator. Clark's already done a Terminator, it didn't go well, did it? Maybe he's holding on for the sequel to that film. What about Brad Pitt?
I would like to see Brad Pitt as Ra's al Ghul.
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, write that one down.
Two more. So this guy's played a villain before, but Liev Schreiber.
I do like Liev Schreiber. I think he's
in my head because I've been watching a lot of
Ray Donovan.
Lots of Ray Donovan. Not a big fan of the show, but I like him in it. And he's got this kind of brooding intensity that could be good for.
Was he that good in Wolverine? Was that a crappy role?
No, he was good. He was good. It was the film that was bad.
I suppose it was the Origins movie, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And finally, Jason Statham. I mean, I don't know. Jason Statham.
Just have to put him in. Probably not for me.
No. Actually, I think he'd be all right. He could be like a Terminator-style assassin.
It's wonder how much time they spend with that character and what else they make him do. Whether he's just someone for Batman to fight, or whether you need to put more weight on his performance.
Yeah.
But if Joe Manganiello turns out to be the guy cast, I'm quite happy with that one.
I've got another couple of questions this front before we move on. David Gaines writes in and says, with news of Deathstroke as a possible villain in the Batman standalone, do you think he will be the main villain, or will it be like the Joker is in the background? I guess you're talking about Suicide Squad.
I want him to be the main villain. I think it'd be great if they could set him up in the Justice League and then he takes centre stage in the Batman movie. I want that Batman movie to be more centred on Ben Affleck's Batman than the villain, really. I want to learn more about his Batman. Yeah, he's been Batman for 20 years, but give me something of that. I don't mind if that's flashbacks or him telling stories to Alfred, but I want to spend more time in that movie with Affleck's Batman than I do the villain. So if it's just a good kind of... It's getting that balance. I don't want them to overstuff that Batman movie.
That's funny you should say that. Spencer Dalzell from Washington says, "Okay guys, I have just 1 point for you right now. What if the Deathstroke teaser was for a Batman solo film that is similar to the plot of Arkham Origins? We get Deathstroke, Deadshot, perhaps the Joker, maybe some other villains like Killer Croc." Not Killer Croc.
If he does his scuttle.
And some new ones where Black Mask, maybe Amanda Waller. Hired them all to kill the Batman, so we get hardcore Batman versus all these villains. What are your guys' thoughts? I want to see some more detective stuff from Batman and some more Bruce Wayne.
We've talked about this before on the show. I definitely want it to be a detective procedural murder mystery.
Yep.
And Deathstroke could be a part of that. He could be the one who's tracking down. But I want to see that stuff. But that's spending time with Batman. I don't want too many villains. Interestingly, when they showed the Deathstroke footage, the first thing I thought of was the trailer for Arkham Origins, which is brilliant, like a CGI rendered trailer, and it's Deathstroke and Batman fighting across rooftops, and it is brilliant. And you can just watch that and go, that'll be an amazing set piece in a movie. But yeah, I don't want to sit, like, as fun as all those characters are. Well, again, it's also like, I think it's Scott Snyder who writes Batman currently, or he writes All-Star now. It's like, it's using the right villain for the right purpose, and the right villain depending on what you want to draw out of Batman in this movie, and you pair that up accordingly. So if you want to emphasise certain aspects of the character, use this villain or this one. And it's just getting that balance right. And if it means more than one villain, it means you can do it. Dark Knight did it with both Joker and Two-Face, because they were integral to that plot. So I think it's just working out what the story is first.
And finally, do you think it was a fun way for them to announce it, or kind of vaguely announce it, or do you think it's a weird, like, not very good?
It's like it's an odd one, isn't it? Because like, when I saw it, it's like, is this what I think it is? Like the uncertainty. Yeah, it is exciting, but at the same time, like, it's him filming a phone of his screen, so the version you're seeing isn't like brilliant quality. But maybe that's the point, it's just a teaser. But I don't know, it's a very odd way of doing it. Like, it's a major announcement that you've done in quite a low-key way.
Do you think Affleck just did it off his own back? And that's why it's so weird.
Do you think it's like, do you think like he's a bit burnt on the other DC movies? Like, I'm going to do marketing myself. He's like writing all the press releases, he's doing all the pictures, he's doing the sandwiches.
Was it Instagram he posted it? Where did he post it?
Twitter.
Twitter.
I think he put it on his Facebook as well.
Do you think he just wanted more Twitter followers?
Yeah, it's like, he's going around Zach looking mad retweets on that. Look at that. I've got faves on that. Got new followers, mainly sex bots.
A few of them lately.
Loads of them.
Few of them.
Loads of them.
Yeah.
Propositioning me.
Yeah.
Any tweet that you like write, like any tweet with certain keywords, you get like propositioned on.
Yeah. What are the keywords?
Boys.
Yeah, one messaged me, it's a picture of her in her underwear and telling me she's a virgin, do I want to meet? I looked at the picture, don't think she's a virgin.
Do you know what?
Nope.
And the rest of the pictures, she don't even look the same.
Just going to go out on a limb there. Should we change the subject?
Yes.
How do we get onto that? Right,
Filth.
so shall I kick this off? Yes, I will. Nico from Chicago has written in. Hello, Nico. An idea of a show that I've been wanting to see is what's, in terms of a topic for us, is what superhero that had a movie before the superhero movie boom deserves a shot with today's modern audiences. I should have warned you about this beforehand.
Yeah, a little bit.
But maybe we don't need to say one because Nico's done such a good suggestion that maybe we don't need to suggest one. He says, my pick would be Spawn. Since his only live action outing came in 1997, I think modern audiences would fill the theatres if a Spawn movie came out in the next couple of years. What do you guys think? What is a superhero that needs a modern times release? So it's a really good question, one that I've given you no time to think about. But Spawn, I think, is a really good idea. I don't think there's any guarantee that modern audiences will fill the theatres if a Spawn movie came out, because I just don't think he's that well known or popular a character. But then you can say the same thing about Deadpool, just make a good movie. Yeah. And I think Deadpool could open the door, because what they've always said about Spawn is that it had to be R-rated, and they had to make it a more PG version before. And hopefully that kicks down the door, especially with some of the violence in the Marvel TV world as well, Netflix stuff.
Are we going to do that as a show? Or are you going to have an answer now?
What do you want to do? Do you want to just do one now?
Let's do a quick one now. But
yeah, go on, you do one.
I'd like to do The Shadow. I used to like that film as a kid, but I've watched it again. It's not very good.
No.
But I do like Alec Baldwin's funny nose in it. So if we're going to make a new movie where an actor has like a funny CGI nose, that would fill the theatres.
Or just cast Owen Wilson.
Yeah, could do.
If only I knew a really big Hollywood director who's trying to get a Shadow movie off the ground. Oh. We're not allowed to talk about. Why did I bring that up?
All right.
We could do a whole show on that. If people want to write in with some suggestions, as long as they're Condor Man, go for it.
Condor Man. Okay. This is Chris from Sunderland. A criticism of the Marvel films is that they have weak or forgettable villains. So if you could pick a DC villain to pair with a Marvel hero, who would it be and why? An obvious pairing would be Captain America and his ideological goodness with the Joker's menacing chaos.
I'd have Enchantress with everyone.
Hoolering.
I think that's a really good one, though. Joker and Captain America would be...
That's really good.
Yeah.
Oh, again,
hard to top it. Email's so good this week.
This is going to be a boring part of the show now, where we just spend 5 minutes in silence trying to think of a better one.
Dale can cut it out.
A few moments later.
I should have prepped for this one. I didn't know this was coming.
Yeah, I forgot to tell you that as well. I've had a lot on my mind this morning. I'm sorry.
What are you saying?
I would say Captain America and Joker is a really good one.
Oh, it's a good job you had time to prep, isn't it? Right, Chris, I'm going to save your email till next week and come back with a decent answer.
I just said Enchantress.
Yeah.
Adam Baker writes in from South Carolina. Lots of American emails this week. Hey guys, I really enjoy your show. You need to do more. I don't know what that means. We do one a week. We do
Pull
it every
your
week
finger
for a long
out.
time.
Pull your finger out, Chris.
That's not the whole point of the email, but I just thought that was interesting.
Do more.
Disappointing, Adam. I think the new Daredevil TV series has been a huge success. I think all the stories unfolding in Hell's Kitchen with Daredevil, Jessica Jones and soon Luke Cage has been a sign that people really want more gritty and dark superhero stories. So with that, don't you think it's time Judge Dredd gets his own TV show? I'm a big comic book fan of Dredd and I really think a TV show would work best. Adam goes on to say he thinks the recent City Limits storyline would be a really good one for them to adapt. So that's one to check out. He says there are so many insane characters and side stories that all tie together that works really well for multiple seasons of a TV series. And he says from reading interviews with Carl Urban, he still seems excited for the Dredd character, which, Carl Urban's miffed.
I recently rewatched Dredd. I've not seen it since the cinema, and it's still really, really good. And you can tell watching it again where they've it doesn't look a cheap movie, but you can definitely see where they saved a lot of money. Just been really smart with the way that they filmed it.
Yeah. So
it goes around every now and then, that kind of April Fool's Day thing that got written up that Netflix were making a Dredd TV show. I wonder if I bet they would have looked into it and done their research and probably maybe decided against it, but it seems like a lot of key people still want it to happen.
Is Dredd on Netflix?
It was, it's not on anymore.
See, what you need is for people just to click on it loads.
Yeah.
And then they'll make it.
It's like Netflix are really analytical with what they commission.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Data, but also just on slight tangent, that Luke Cage show looks good. I'm getting really excited about it. I wasn't really that pumped for it for quite a while, and then recently I watched the trailer yesterday about how they design the soundtrack, and they're treating the score for each episode like it's an album, and picking the right songs for every scene. And it's like we're making 13 albums, and it's just like it looks a very cool show.
Yeah.
I'm not cool enough to watch it.
No, but hopefully we could do some. We're going to be doing some fun things with the people that are involved in that one soon.
Sweet Christmas.
Fingers crossed.
This is from Leonard Atuk. I have no idea what this is on about. Hey fellas, enjoy the show weekly. Hoboden is funny, but I personally like the Odin bum. What's that?
So last week on the show that we did together, the best bit of the show was when I said that Tramp Anthony Hopkins should be called Hobodin.
I couldn't even recognise
It was the best bit of the show. You know, you see the traffic that one did on YouTube?
Yeah.
Over 100,000 is because of that joke. And then this person's written in saying they've done a better joke, and I want you to be the judge. Because mine's kind of a pun.
Well, his is the pun of Odin's son, isn't it? So it is like a half rhyme. I think they're both excellent. Are both equally good puns.
I'm happy about this one.
You're sulking?
A little bit.
You're sulking. Right, if you want to email us,
you can finish this
write
one
to us
off.
at supershowagent.com. And until next week, brilliant. See you next week.